Hello out there. We're on the air. You guys may notice a couple different things today. The microphone's here. So hopefully, I don't know, you might, the sound quality might be better here for the show. Let me know if you guys notice. We had a meeting yesterday. Meeting and some videos we filmed yesterday with the Maple Bitcoin boys. Forrest, Rajat. And Rajat said, Jor, where's your mic? I said, I don't know. I got it over here somewhere. I got it on the far setting though, so it's still good. He's like, well, just move it closer to you and see how it sounds. And he said, this is his words, 100 times better. So you guys will have to let me know if the sound is indeed better or if he was pulling my leg. Oh, I got the wrong hat on here. Shoot. Quick wardrobe change. There we go. That's better. Look like less of a bum. More professional with the forwards hat. That's my what would you even call it? Attire. My work attire. Professional equals hat forwards. Anyways, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Hope everybody's doing good. It is pretty nasty here today. It's snowing. I'm supposed to be traveling today or tomorrow or sometime. I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts right now in my life. Some unfortunate things, but anyways, this isn't a personal diary. So send some good vibes and energy and stuff this way, not directed at me, but this direction. That'd be very much appreciated. So anyways, let's get to the zaps. What's going on over there? A couple folks. Oh no, just our favorite bot. Lame. We need some people over in Zapstream to drown him out. So take some time, shut the show, go over to Zapstream. Okay. You guys got to let me know. I haven't seen in the chat here if I sound better or not, or Rajat was pulling my leg. Bodie says, Arnie's sleeping in. Oh, me and Arnie had a good morning today, actually. We were both up on time. I just decided, you know what? Instead of being like 10 minutes late every day, I'm just going to change the time of the show. Seemed like a real easy life hack. Instead of being late, just change the time so you're on time or early. Makes sense to me. Anyways, the point of the reason I started it at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock Eastern time before is because I used to watch a different show that started at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So I wanted to make sure I watched that, but my shows have been too long anyways. I never get to watch the show regardless. So we're just going to start the show every day now, 9:30 Eastern time, officially. Makes more sense to me. And we're going to try to keep these to an hour. But I say that quite a bit. Cleaning Machine, good morning, my friend. Killer. Good to see you, my friend. Mert, Jay, Tommy D, Buck 52. Jay on the magic mushrooms this morning. Wild Thursday in store for Jay today. Wild Thursday for Jay. And also we got a zap here for, not that way, this way. Arnie's wallet just received 50 sats. Anonymous. Thank you. Brennan says, good morning. The signal is stronger than ever, but so are the grifts. Truth. Why do I feel more alone as a Bitcoiner than ever? I don't know the answer to that. And I can't say that I disagree. I think it's because, I don't know, actually. I don't want to really give a theory on this without thinking about it. Everyone's distracted. I think that's the biggest thing. It's been like that for a while. It was really bad, obviously, during 2020, 2021. But it seems today everybody's just like so focused on the wrong things. And it's intentional. Everything that happens that you see on your TV and your phone and everything is done by design. It's meant to distract people from the real issue, which is the monetary system. But as we're going to talk about today, we now have something in place that can combat that without anybody really having to do anything. Oh, I shouldn't say that. But to win, all you need to do is get some of it. So when things are moving in that direction, even though it doesn't seem like it right now, it seems like a bunch of fog that we're walking through. But on the other side of that, to me, it seems very clear of what's happening. And that's what I titled the show today. The Bitcoin signal has never been more clear. And that is the absolute truth. Anyways, I see we got a zap here from somebody. 555 sats with a little comment saying it's been a while. So I don't know who that would be from. But either way, thank you. That's very generous of you, 555 sats. And we got Letha. Letha joined the Zap stream over there and zapped 88 sats. Great number. Thank you, Letha. Thank you. All right, what were we talking about there? Oh, I should give my disclaimer for the day. 6 minutes into this. I mean, I'm learning as I go here, you know? We're just learning as we go. Everybody is. Where is this disclaimer? All right, so this is, in case you didn't know, in case you're new to the show here, this is the Daily Bitcoin Journey. This is a daily show that happens now at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time every single morning. Well, except Wednesdays when we do a private show. But yesterday I actually did a secondary show. So every weekday, for the most part, we do a show, and it focuses on actionable and logical discussion for Bitcoiners and for future Bitcoiners. Lots of future Bitcoiners out there. About 99% of the world is in that category. Future Bitcoiners. But a couple things to keep in mind here. You should verify every single word that comes out of my mouth. Again, I do a live show every morning without a script. And so with that, I'm going to be wrong about some stuff. I might say some things that are incorrect and probably some dumb shit. So verify the things that come out of my mouth. I will never tell you what to do. I will only tell you my thoughts and my personal experiences here within Bitcoin. None of this is financial advice. However, if Bitcoin is not your largest holding right now, then you are either uninformed or an idiot. So call that whatever the hell you want to. But that's why the show exists, to help people understand. We're all just kind of going through this whole thing together. On the show, we do not have any paid sponsors. 0 people pay me every month, which means I own my voice, which is very important to me. So if you've learned anything throughout, if you've laughed at all, if you've been entertained, you can send some value back this way, as some people already have this morning, to this QR code to Arnie's wallet, or you can go over to Zapstream and zap some there, like Daniel just did, 88 sats. Thank you, Daniel. And there have been many significant supporters of the show. You know who you are, and I will forever be grateful for that support. So let's get her going here, folks. Let's get to it. I see Craig's over there. Good morning, Craig. We got Letha, and we got Bodie. Bodie. Morning, Bodie. Buck 52, high signal. Yes. Okay. And we got Rick and Bacon Booty's here. Hello, Bacon Booty. And Flow Fort. Right on. So with this new setup here, nobody's actually told me yet whether or not I sound any better or different or anything. Because if I don't, I'm just going to go back to my old setup, because I had my notes here. I had my keyboard here. Now this microphone's in my way. So if it's not a big improvement, then I'm going to go back to what we had before. So let me know. Either way, that's the third time I've asked and still nobody has said anything. So that makes me think that nothing has changed. But I could be wrong. Okay, where do we begin here, folks? We got a couple different things. So I'm going to start the show with a couple different pieces of, news. We'll talk about the signal stuff here that I was referring to. And then I got a treat today. I'm going to do a little segment called Things I Got Wrong in Bitcoin. That's what we're going to talk about today. So hopefully, the whole point of the show at the end of the day is to help people navigate this space, to share the experiences and the lessons that I've learned here in Bitcoin so that you don't have to make those same mistakes. The lessons I've learned, there will be some. You're going to probably get burned at some point here, either way, regardless of this show. But we're going to try to minimize that. I think that's the main thing. Oh, I didn't send it to my email. Son of a gun. Some of my gun. Some of them bitch. There's one here. That's one word I don't hear a lot of. Bitch. I don't know why that is. Been hearing lots of other words lately, especially since Trump took office again. People feel more comfortable saying certain words, which is wild. But anyways, we're going to start the show with this video today. And I think that there's a lot of people going through this kind of exact same realization as okay, we got some feedback here. Paul, who's an audio expert himself, says the mic is fine, sounds better. That's good. Sounds good, looks good. All right, that's what we're looking for, Rick. Sounds good, but you did before. Oh, okay. Sound is equal to before. All right. Well, we're getting some mixed feedback here. That's okay though. We're moving in the right direction, it seems, anyways. If nothing else. I just want to make sure that the settings are good here. Otherwise, yeah, okay, the microphone's on. And we have it on near. Okay. So it should be good. Kyle says thinks it's better as a whole. Okay, good. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate that. It sounds like, if nothing else, we're at least the same or better. So that's all you can really ask for. Video here. Actually, before we do that, let me tell you about something here that just popped up last night. Where is it? Where are we? Here we go. All right, look at this. Look at this. I'll share a little comment here for everybody. You can see there now. We're going to have both our Twitter. Somehow we were able to snag the name Maple Bitcoin. Hey, look who showed up for work today. Hi, buddy. He's hiding. Burying his head. Welcome, Arnie. Welcome to the show, buddy. But anyways, if you're on Twitter, I don't know if you are. I don't know how many people are still on X. But Maple Bitcoin is there now. We aren't verified yet. Don't know if we will be. But this is where we're going to be sharing some thoughts from Forrest, Rajat, myself, videos. So that's a Twitter. And we also got a nostr npub that's sprung up. So we'll be a little bit more active on the socials now. So if you haven't yet, I don't know if you've seen us. We only got 7 followers. So I don't imagine there's too many people here that follow Maple Bitcoin. But it's there. It is there for everybody to enjoy. We'll probably be sharing a lot of Rajat stuff. He's the Twitter king, and we'll be sharing some stuff on nostr, maybe from Forrest and I. Who knows? But anyways, on this same note here, we got a new video out. MicroStrategy, also, or MSTR, also known as Strategy now, as a Bitcoin insurance company. So this was an interesting one. Not for everybody. It's not a hype video or a price prediction or anything like that. But we had a good chat. It was something that I'm quite unfamiliar with myself, is the insurance of Bitcoin. So that's a new video we just posted last night at an awkward time of the evening, and hasn't got much traction yet, but that's why I figured I'd share it today. It's an interesting one. 20 minutes. That's what we're trying to do, about 30 minute videos. And then of course our live streams on Friday. Maple Bitcoin. All right. Look at this. We got Drig. It's Drig17. Just found your channel. Keep it up. Well, glad to have you, man or woman. But that's it. I saw a hilarious clip yesterday. I don't even know where it's from. It was some sort of official government meeting, though, somewhere. And the chair, I wish I could find it now. It was hilarious. Maybe I'll try to find it while we're watching this other video here. But the chair of the meeting, there must have been some sort of man who now dresses like a woman. And they refer to, I don't even know how to say these things, referred to it as her. No, him. It was hilarious. And everybody just went nuts. And then they shut down the meeting right after that. I'm going to try to find it here because it was a solid video. Anyways, we got Spaceman over in the Zap stream too. Good morning, Spaceman. Great to see you. And he zapped 88 sats over on the Zap stream. Mark, good morning. And we got Dale. Look at that. Dale's in the chat this morning. 9 followers now. Right on. That's the Twitter feed anyways. 15. Look at that. We're buzzing on X this morning. I'm sure if Rajat shares a post, then, it'll probably be 100X there, but seems Rajat's the Twitter king of Twitter in the Bitcoin world. Okay, let's watch this video. So this is an important tweet here, I think. This guy, Patel Patriot, I've seen him off and on for the last 4 or 5 years, just in different spots. I kind of just assumed that he was a Bitcoiner, but he says in the video that he doesn't know much about Bitcoin. The tweet says, I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist, and I think this is a real good reflection of everything that's happening right now. There's a lot of people out there starting to realize that this is not going away, and you should probably get some. I talked to a guy yesterday, a buddy of mine. He was looking for help buying Bitcoin for the first time. So I didn't orange pill him or anything, but he called me for some advice on how to buy some Bitcoin. And he said that his whole work crew was using Wealthsimple to start buying Bitcoin. And I feel like that's a very small sample size, but I feel like it's a microcosm of kind of everything that's happening right now in Bitcoin. And we don't see it in the price, but there are a whole bunch of new average people getting into Bitcoin, which is amazing. Even though they're not going to get as much now as they would have a couple of years ago. But when we look back in 10 years from now, the people who started buying today, even though it seems kind of insignificant, those are going to be significant amounts. So let's listen to what Patel Patriot here has to say. It's about a 3-minute video about the executive order that was signed, what it means, and kind of what it looks like from a non-Bitcoiner's perspective. I think that's the key here. This is what it looks like from a non-Bitcoiner's perspective, which again is about 99% of the world right now. So the signal has never been more clear in Bitcoin.
An United States digital asset stockpile. This is huge signal in this thing. Now, this is the biggie. Establishment of the strategic Bitcoin reserve in the United States digital asset stockpile. This is huge signal in this thing. If you don't understand where we're going with Bitcoin, or at least see what signal this is putting out, and are encouraged to go get a little bit of Bitcoin after this, I don't know what to do, because clearly they're signaling something here, and you'll see exactly what I mean in a minute. It is the policy of the United States to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve. It is further the policy of the United States to establish a United States digital assets stockpile that can serve as a secure account for orderly and strategic management of the United States' other digital asset holdings. So they're dividing the crypto into 2 separate things. There's Bitcoin and everything other than Bitcoin. They're going to be initially funded by criminal asset forfeiture, which we've been speculating that would be the case. But this is where it gets interesting, because, again, further separating the 2 things. The Secretary of the Treasury and the Secretary of Commerce shall develop strategies for acquiring additional government Bitcoin, provided that such strategies are budget neutral and do not impose incremental costs on United States taxpayers. Interesting. However, the United States government shall not acquire additional stockpile assets other than in connection with criminal or civil asset forfeiture proceedings. Not only are we creating these 2 things, Bitcoin and other crypto assets, we're going to look for ways to further fund the Bitcoin one outside of just criminal asset forfeiture, as long as it's budget neutral and don't impose incremental costs on the United States taxpayers. They're going to look for other ways to get more Bitcoin, but they are not going to look to do that with the other asset pile. In the framework they're establishing, Bitcoin has its separate thing, and it's going to be added to in ways other than just criminal asset forfeiture. All of the cryptos is not doing that. And we're kind of having a little debate in our private chat. I don't think this is outlining it yet. There's going to be more to this. They have the thing where, within 30 days of the date of this order, they're going to review the authorities and all these things and come up with a plan, and we'll further make it law, whatever. It's like every other executive order out there. Where this is going is they're going to basically, the stuff in the crypto stockpile is going to be sold and turned into Bitcoin. That's where this is going. It's not there yet, but the writing here and how they're framing this, it's the writing. Maybe they don't do it that way. I don't know, but it would make sense just based on the fact that they're looking for other creative ways, budget neutral ways to add to Bitcoin. But as of right now, this is major signal for Bitcoin. I know not everybody understands it. I don't even fully understand Bitcoin. That's fine. Just put $10 in, $10 a month, and see what that does for you long term. If people like G Money are right about what Bitcoin might potentially be. Badlandsmedia.tv/river.
100%. Couldn't have said it better myself. Just start somewhere. $10 a month. Every single person on this planet. I don't care what anybody would argue in here. Everybody on this planet. I shouldn't say that. That's a lie. Let me backtrack a bit. Every person in the Western world could afford $10 a Bitcoin a month or a week or whatever. Any amount of Bitcoin. You don't have to get a second job. And this is something that I think is very important, because when the US government talks about this Bitcoin reserve and acquiring more Bitcoin, they're doing it in a budget neutral fashion. And I think if you just apply that to your own life and think about it the exact same way, you don't have to go out and get a second job. You don't have to work any harder than you are. You don't have to do anything crazy here. Sell some stuff around your house. Easiest thing to do. You got any money in the stock market? Cash it out, buy some Bitcoin. Stocks are not going to compare to Bitcoin, not even close. I know people like hanging on as long as they can to this old system here, but stocks are not even going to come close to the performance of Bitcoin. And that's just one single aspect of it, the performance. Never mind the ability to self-custody that Bitcoin. The ability to, if you wanted to, this would be a good experiment, I think, for people. You buy a little bit of Bitcoin, you set up a new wallet, you send it there. That creates one new UTXO. That's what it's called. It's basically a chunk of Bitcoin. That UTXO is going to sit there for as long as you don't spend it, as long as you hold on to that. That Bitcoin amount is going to sit there in the exact same amount. There's no property tax on that Bitcoin. There's no annual fee on that Bitcoin. There's no storage costs on that Bitcoin. Whatever you send there is going to be there in 10, 20, 30 years. And if you just keep adding to it, there's nothing that comes out of there unless you spend it. So as long as you hold on to it and you're doing this consistently and compounding it, you're going to be in 1,000 times better place. Your family's going to be in 1,000 times better place than you are today, just by doing something so simple as that. Sell some stuff around your house, sell some of your other assets. You don't have to do anything crazy here. Just start getting some Bitcoin. And he mentioned that he thought that the US was going to start selling. His big theory here, and like the game changer here, is that they're going to start selling their other digital assets for Bitcoin. I don't think that they're going to do that. A. B, it's not going to matter at all. That's like this amount of a big deal. When we're talking about gold, when we're talking about the US starting to mine Bitcoin themselves as what did Saylor call it yesterday? A matter of national defense. Saylor is now talking about the software or soft war aspect of Bitcoin, digital defense, essentially, which makes a lot of sense to me, because as a country, when you're sending information around the globe, you want that to be secure. And we're living in a world right now that's very uncertain. We're still clinging on to that old world, which has a ton of vulnerabilities security-wise, cybersecurity-wise. And Bitcoin is the only thing that is proven to be secure in that. So when you put all these things together in your own head, it probably makes sense to get some Bitcoin. So again, take the same approach as the US government. Look at this thing as like look at your Bitcoin as your family's Bitcoin reserve. Just like the US strategic Bitcoin reserve, you have your own family's strategic reserve. And again, you don't have to go out and do anything stupid or crazy or work hard or anything. Just take some of the existing assets that you already have, just like the US is doing, and put that into Bitcoin and just keep adding to it and adding to it. Like, it's not that hard. You don't have to fully understand this asset to be part of this thing. The only way that you lose in this whole game is by owning 0 Bitcoin. That's the reality here. The only way you can lose in this is by owning 0 Bitcoin. It's not that hard anymore. We're at a time now. Like the guy I was talking to yesterday, he asked me where to buy it. I sent him the link and he figured it out himself. 5 years ago, I had to buy like a $500 membership so I could figure out how to buy Bitcoin and how to send Bitcoin. Like, it's not hard anymore. This is very straightforward stuff now for anybody out there. There's no excuses anymore. For your friends, for your family members, for anybody out there, there's no excuses for them not to have any Bitcoin at this point. 0. A couple of years ago, it was harder to buy. 10 years ago, you had to meet a guy in a back alley wearing a fucking trench coat and buy some Bitcoin from him. Now you send some money digitally to an exchange. They send you Bitcoin. That's it. So it's incredibly easy. Plus, a couple of years ago, we didn't have Larry Fink here. We didn't have the richest guy in Mexico here. We didn't have Michael Saylor here. We didn't have Donald Trump here. We didn't have any of these guys who have confirmed that this thing is indeed going to be around for a while. The signal within Bitcoin has never been more clear than it is today. And people are getting lost in the price, the fiat price, a completely illusionary, made up number of Bitcoin. And I think that's a disconnect for a lot of people. A, they think it's too expensive. B, most people think they need to buy 1 Bitcoin. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. If they understood that not even every millionaire on the planet right now will be able to afford 1 Bitcoin. Not even close. Like, there's 60 million millionaires and 21 million Bitcoin available. So you don't need a full Bitcoin. In fact, it's going to be incredibly rare for anybody to have 1 whole Bitcoin in a decade from now. Incredibly rare. So I don't know. Again, going back to the start of this episode today, everything being a distraction, that's what it's been. They've just been, their only move is just to distract people from it. Oh, there it is, Letha. Thank you, Letha. Look at this. Letha shared the clip of Sarah McBride getting misgendered. All right, let's watch this. This is absolute gold. This is absolute gold. So I don't know anything about Sarah McBride, but I can kind of tell the situation here. So it says Republicans are not letting up on addressing Sarah McBride as Mr. McBride, nor should they. Mr. McBride was supposed to strut into DC as a trans icon, but the timing couldn't have been worse. America's done with the delusion. This is a 10 out of 10 clip. Oh.
I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr.
I'm
Chairman,
sorry.
could you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, we have set the
Representative.
standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply.
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman?
the
Would you
standard-
repeat what you just said when
I-
you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America? Please.
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order. Mr. Chairman, have you no decency? I
We
mean,
will- we will-
I've come to know you a little bit, but this is not decent.
We will continue this.
You
hearing.
will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned. I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating.
That absolutely kills me. That is so good. I don't know. Like we entertained this for long enough. It's just time to get back to fucking reality here, I think. That's it. And God bless people like the chairman here for sticking your neck out a little bit here and saying it how it is. People are tired of this bullshit. People want some sort of I don't know. If we can't decide on how many genders there are, then we can't really do anything as a species, in my opinion. So, let people do whatever they want. I don't care. You can dress however you want. You can do whatever you want. I don't give a shit. But just don't push it on other people. I think that's what people got tired of, is just too much in your face over and over again. Every classroom, there's fucking a whole year dedicated to it now. Not just a month, but a year. People just had enough. And I don't care. People might be offended by this. I don't give a shit. As you guys know. But anyways, hilarious either way. If you can't laugh about that, then you got bigger problems. Timber Crasher, look at this dream thread. It's turtle time, whatever the heck that means, but it is turtle time. It's Bitcoin time. Timber Crasher, good morning, buddy. Brendan says, may God grant David Sachs the wisdom to sell the disgusting crypto stockpile and convert it to the real innovation and solution. I mean, yeah, that I'm not getting hung up in that though, because who cares? The point of that whole thing was that they've separated it. They're not buying any more Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, XRP. They're not buying any more of that. They're buying more Bitcoin. And even if they sold all their other digital assets, what would that get them? A Bitcoin? Who cares? Who cares? It could not be less relevant. Bitcoin is the only one that matters. As Brennan said here, the real innovation and solution. Citizens need to know the faults, the uselessness, and the egregious criminality of XRP and Ethereum and Solana and Cardano, etc. I mean, yeah, but what are we supposed to do? That's why this channel exists, obviously. We only talk about Bitcoin here. We've put out hundreds of videos trash talking these other scam coins. But at the end of the day, people need to learn the lessons themselves. Somewhat, as best they can. Touch the stove, you get burned, you get into Bitcoin. Everybody goes through the same route. Parker, good morning, my friend. Dirty Scant says, pay off your house or buy another Bitcoin. Buy another Bitcoin for sure. I think paying off your house is the dumbest thing that anybody could do. Truly. I do. Even if I had the means to pay off my house right now, I wouldn't do it. I would buy more Bitcoin. Why? Because one option, you're paying 5, 6, maybe less %. That's what you're paying. That's your outflow, 5 or 6%. Your inflow from holding Bitcoin is about 60% on average per year. That's a very big disconnect there. Very big disconnect. And yes, there'll be months you're down in Bitcoin. There'll be months where it's tough. There'll be years maybe where you're down in Bitcoin. But if you look at this thing over 5, 10, 15, 20 years, it does not make sense to pay off your house, either to sell Bitcoin or not buy more Bitcoin. Those two things are much different. There's a huge spread there. And that's why it's a no-brainer to me. Buck52 says, what's your mortgage rate? I don't to me, whether it was 3, whether it was 5, whether it was 7%, whether it was 10%, I would still buy Bitcoin instead. As long as you can get a term that's, again, at least 5 years, because you have to keep in mind here that anybody who's ever bought Bitcoin in history and held on to it for 4 years has never lost on that investment. So if you get a loan, I wouldn't say it matters too much what the rate is. I mean, credit card is a little bit different when you're paying 20% every month, but like a mortgage, a line of credit, refinance, whatever it is, it's a no-brainer. If you can get at least 5 years on that term, it's a no-brainer. Yeah. You ride that 3% forever and buy a Bitcoin. Exactly. Buy enough Bitcoin to borrow against it at better rates and pay the mortgage off in large chunks. I mean, that's not a bad idea either, honestly. But I still, like, at this point, there's no point of paying off your mortgage just to say you've done it. I mean, yeah, you're going to pay less every month. Obviously, you're not going to have that payment, but Bitcoin's going to, especially right now, you know, if you ask me the same question no, I'm not going to change my mind on that. Actually, if you can get a 5-year loan of any amount, of any rate, less than like 20%, it's a no-brainer. Andrew says, in 20 years, think about how many more millionaires there will be. What percent will own one Bitcoin? So you could do the math on this. Like, this isn't really, so that let's say that there's 60 million millionaires. Let's do a spreadsheet here. Why not? We got nothing to do today. Oh, we do? Okay, never mind. We got lots to do today. Gotcha. Okay, so let's do this quickly, see what we can make of it. This is an on-the-fly spreadsheet, so anything could happen. Okay, let's bring this up. Nothing like a live spreadsheet on the show here. The only thing better than a spreadsheet on the show is a live spreadsheet on the show. Oh, and look at this. We got a fat zap. That's a new number. The 1111, 1111, 1,111 sats anonymously to our guy Arnie's wallet. So thank you for that. That's very generous. That is a fat zap around here. Okay, anyways, let's get to her here. So how many millionaires are on Earth right now? Total millionaires. That's not how you spell millionaires. Total millionaires. What do we got here? Perplexity. Give me some answers. Give me the answers. And keep in mind here, whatever this number is, it's probably much higher than this because this is like the known millionaires. There's probably, I wouldn't say double, but there's a lot more than we know for sure. How many millionaires are on Earth right now? How many millionaires on Earth? See how AI handles that one. 58 million. Okay, 58 million millionaires. That's, again, I'd say that's the absolute bare minimum. But, 58, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, starting point. We got to make sure this looks pretty. There we go. Total Bitcoin. $21 million. Actually, let's skip the formatting there. Let's go like that. Drag it. Okay, so then just right there, based on that alone, so that 21 million there, that's the total amount of Bitcoin that will ever exist. So even best case scenario here in terms of the lowest possible amount of millionaires and the highest possible amount of Bitcoin. That's not right. Only 36% of millionaires, absolute best case, could own one full Bitcoin. That's crazy. That in itself is crazy. But let's make some adjustments here. So the total millionaires, we're going to leave that the same. But let's adjust the total Bitcoin here. So total Bitcoin is 21 million. But we'll take out the lost coins and Satoshi's coins. We don't want to look like dummies here on the internet. So let's say Satoshi's got 1 million approximately. The lost coins are about 3 million, probably absolute minimum. So let's go 4 million. So now there's 17 million. So what does that leave us here? 17 out of 58, 29%. Again, I would say that that's best case. 29% of millionaires can afford 1 Bitcoin. But then you think about like how many people already own more than 1 coin. So let's think about like, I don't know, any Bitcoiner who's been around for the last 10 years probably owns more than 1 Bitcoin. And then we think of MicroStrategy. So like we'll go the locked up coins pretty much. So that would be 500,000 for MicroStrategy. That would be, how many does BlackRock and those other ones have? Like 1 million? The governments of the world, the US has 200K, half that's going to be gone. So we'll go 100K. China has 200K. I think Russia, we'll go with 300,000 just to be safe. And probably a similar amount of those Bitcoin are in other public companies, other hedge funds. So let's just go another 500,000. So 2.3 million. So now that our more accurate, or this is probably going to be very low too, but approximate Bitcoin available equals 21 million minus the lost coins and Satoshi's coins minus the locked up coins. So there's about 14 million available. I think that that's absolutely best case. So 14 million divided by 58 million. So about 1/4 of millionaires. Again, that seems really high to me, but still like mind blowing. 1 in 4 millionaires will be able to afford 1 Bitcoin. And I think it's, again, very conservative, but it's always better to be a little bit conservative, I think. And I'm probably missing something here. This is a spreadsheet done on the fly, but 1 in 4 best case millionaires will be able to afford 1 Bitcoin. So for anybody out there, you probably have some friends and family members and coworkers who think that unless they can get to 1 Bitcoin, it's a waste of time. Just understand that in a decade from now, owning 1 Bitcoin is going to be extremely rare, like extremely rare, even for millionaires, as we can see here. And again, this doesn't even include the non-millionaires in the world. Everybody else needs some Bitcoin too. So that's not factored into this. I would say that it's about 1 in 10 millionaires will actually be able to afford 1 Bitcoin. That's insane. That's insane. All right. Bodhi's doing a bot check over in the Zap stream. And he has come to the conclusion that they are human. I don't agree with that, but AI is pretty advanced, my friends. Bodhi, don't waste your time over there. The thing that keeps them alive is attention. So if you just ignore them, they'll eventually disappear. All right. Mert says, which price range in 2035 would disappoint you? 250K in 2035? Uh, 250,000 would disappoint me in 2025. So you can figure out that. And that's kind of one of the things that Saylor's been talking a lot about lately is the Bitcoin gold rush, which ends in 2035, which is when 99% of the coins will have been lost. So again, even with that, let's say that there's still 1 million coins to be, 1.5 million coins to be mined over these next 120 years. The majority of those are going to flow into the governments, into the public companies, into the big boys. So that's also going to take away from the millionaires. So that 25%, that 1 in 4, again, I think is extremely high. But even at that, even at the most conservative level there, that's crazy. Buck 52 says, really want to move to a Bitcoin standard. My wife and I chatted over dinner last night. She said, how would you pay the bill tonight? So, I mean, I can't speak for everybody here, but what I do in that case, like, this is what you could do. This is a very simple way to do it, especially where we are right now. You kind of have to be conscious, I guess, but I think over the next 10 years, like, we're going to have a lot more good months than bad months. But one thing that you could do is you just every month, first of the month, or whenever you get paid, maybe the 31st or the 30th of the last month, you just dump that into Bitcoin, into ShakePay. That's pretty much what I do, honestly. I use Bitcoin well for like, larger amounts and a recurring buy, but I put an amount into ShakePay every month and I keep it in Bitcoin. So it sits in my Bitcoin account within ShakePay. And then when I need to sell some, I usually look at like the day. Like, this is what you look at the price you paid when you bought it. So let's say that on March 1st, you put your total spending cash for the month into Bitcoin. Then, or half it, you might go half, you might go 60, 70%, something like that. Then you look at the price you paid on that day. And let's say it was 85K on March 1st. That's what you bought in at. Right? So then when you go to spend some cash, maybe you go out for dinner with the wife, maybe you have to pay your phone bill, maybe you have to pay your utility bill. Who knows? Anything that you need to pay for, you look at the price of Bitcoin that day. If it's higher, let's say it's 90,000 the day you need to spend some cash, then you sell Bitcoin. You swap Bitcoin from Bitcoin to your cash account, and you can pay with your Visa with ShakePay. If the amount is lower, let's say it dropped from 85 down to 80, that's when you have a bit of a cash reserve there and you spend your cash. But either way, you're pretty much like, you're going to increase your purchasing power if you're doing that right. And if you're doing that strategically, when Bitcoin's higher, you sell some Bitcoin. And don't consider it like you're selling Bitcoin, because you're not trading it for dollars. You're actually spending it. So there's a big difference between selling and spending your Bitcoin. So when the price is higher than your original first of the month date there, that's when you spend some Bitcoin. When it's lower than that, that's when you spend some cash. So you're never really losing there. And in Canada, you can use ShakePay. ShakePay is great. As much as, I hate some of the regulations and some of the things they've done in terms of KYC stuff. ShakePay is a really, really solid way to utilize Bitcoin fully and also earn Bitcoin. Like, I don't want to say the amount, but I've earned a lot of Bitcoin on ShakePay through the years. So I'll for anybody watching today in the chat here, I'll put my referral link for ShakePay. That's for Canada only, but I believe that in America you can use Fold for something similar to that, where you can actually pay for things with a Visa card, prepaid Visa, pretty much. That's what ShakePay uses, and you actually get sats back. Did I put that in the chat? No, I didn't. It makes a lot of sense. And for me, with like our knggolf stuff, like, I buy a lot of hats, I buy a lot of products, and I pay for those products with my ShakePay Visa card. So every time I'm spending money that I already needed to spend, I'm actually getting Bitcoin back as well. And I think Fold has something similar in the US. I don't think people can share links in here other than me, but if anybody has a Fold link that they want to share with the American crew here, maybe just shoot it into the Living the Future chat and I'll share it with people here. So that's going to be I'll put that ShakePay. It should be in the show notes either way, but either way, I'll put it at the top of the show notes for today's show. So if you're listening to this later and you're in Canada, you can use that link. If anything, take money out of your house and buy Bitcoin. 100%. That's what I'm talking about. Ginger, morning, buddy. Good morning. 1 in 4, crazy, isn't it? Think about that. Think about that. Even if every millionaire on the planet wanted to, they understood Bitcoin, they wanted to allocate some of their millions to Bitcoin, only 1 in 4 of them will ever be able to afford 1 Bitcoin max. Max. I'd say it's closer to 1 in 10, if not more or less. Sorry. And I actually did a show on 365 yesterday. I might share that clip. We'll see. But I talked about like preparing for this. And I've been thinking about this a lot in terms of like my own life and where this thing's going and what kind of where I want to be. Kind of the point of it was like, if you think about I don't know where you live, obviously. But if you're in a small town, like everybody knows like the millionaires, everybody knows like the rich guy in town. And if you're a Bitcoiner right now, that's going to be you. Whether you understand that or not yet, that's going to be you. So you have to think about it. Is like, because that millionaire in your hometown, they have a much different life than everybody else. They need to worry about things that the average person doesn't have to worry about. They need better security than the average person. So you kind of have to decide yourself of like, do you want to be the rich guy in town and have like a wall around your house and a bunch of security cameras? If not, you should be thinking about a strategy to get out of there. And this is something I've been thinking about quite a bit myself. Not that I'm going to leave like anytime soon, but you got to have options, because you're either going to be the guy, the millionaire in your town, everybody looks at differently, everybody acts differently around, with security around your house, or you can go somewhere else where you can just be an average person. And the nice thing about Bitcoin too, and I mean, when we think about this, probably most people watching the show today have told people that they have Bitcoin. They've talked about Bitcoin to other people. So they're going to be able to connect the dots. Hopefully not a lot of people have told anybody how much Bitcoin they have. The number one rule in Bitcoin, of course, never tell anybody how much Bitcoin you have, because of these reasons. So you might be able to, the one thing about Bitcoin that's really cool, and if you've done this properly, is that you could be the richest person in your town and nobody would know it. There are people who will be able to do that. I can't, obviously, not just because of the show, but because, I've talked to a lot of friends and family and people around me about Bitcoin. But it is something that you have to be thinking about. You don't have to make any crazy moves today. You don't have to buy a house somewhere else, but you should start thinking about, like, if this plays out the way we think it's going to, are you going to move, or are you going to be the rich guy in your town that everybody, again, looks differently at, acts and talks different towards? Do you want to be that person? I don't. Some people might. Some people might want to be the king of their town. I have no interest in that. So things you got to be thinking about here. Having low interest debt is very useful. It buys you time in the market. Hashtag compound annual growth rate. 100%. Hey, there you go. There you go. We got we'll try this one out. This should work. This is a referral link from Bodhi for Fold app. So he shortcutted there. He went to the Zap stream instead of the Living in the Future. I respect that. Took the shortcut. Paid off. Josh says those. Oh, I missed a couple zaps here. We got Matt FRL zapped 88 sats. We got a bunch of 88 sats today. That's okay. That's our favorite number around here. My Path to Fire also 88 sats. Thank you, my friends. And check Arnie's wallet. Nothing. Dry. Oh, you can see his butt there. Oh, you can't. Kind of see his butt. He's snoozing. What else we got here? Bodhi Jor, is Generations happening today? I think it is. I mean, Bodhi's over in the chat here. I plan on doing it, except my day was kind of upended today. So we'll see. I'm still, there's still lots up in the air here. Plus, this is also going to affect my day a little bit here. She's snowing. She is snowing. So we'll see. I need to travel somewhere today, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. So we'll see. Tomorrow morning is going to be up on the rocks, or, you know, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a show tomorrow, but we're going to do our Maple Bitcoin show, I think, either way, wherever I am. So just a bit of housekeeping there, I guess, for anybody who cares. Tom says, I've been slowly getting my wife and daughter on board. The best thing I've found is getting them to invest their attention in it is better than trying to onboard them. Interesting. Invest their attention in it instead of trying to convince them, probably. That makes sense. So instead of, like, you know, pushing people and pressuring people, just share some, like, good things about Bitcoin. Share some good news. Like, hey, did you hear that the US government is buying Bitcoin? Pretty big deal. Hey, did you see that Bitcoin's up 15% today? It's probably not. I don't know. I don't even check the price anymore. But anyways, look at this. We got a fat zap. We'll call this a fat zap, of course. 888 sats. Anonymous to Arnie Boy's wallet. So again, if you want to do a magic trick, you just point your phone at that QR code, send a couple sats, and this whole room lights up green with the wallet here, wallet of Satoshi. And oh, Josh says, Joy, I sent you some sats in the Zap. Use the address attached to the show, I think. Yep. 888. That looks like, oh, there's another fad Zap that just came in. Look at that, Arnie. We're awake. Arnie's awake now. No, he's not. Okay, speaking of magic tricks and QR codes, let's give away some Bitcoin here, everybody's favorite part of the show. But before we do that, look at this huge shout out. Anonymous zap of 8,888 sats. That is, we're going to call that one the legendary zap. Anything over 888 is going to be a fad zap. Anything above 8888 is going to be a legendary zap. That's what we're going to call them. And then we'll have to come up with something that's for higher zaps than that, for like the 88,000 sat zap, which is not out of the question. We've had a couple people send in that amount. BitBilly a couple times has been competing with himself for the highest zap in the show history. Oh no, there was another one. There's a massive one. I forgot about that one. How could I forget about that one? But you know, it is what it is. I don't have any sort of issues, you know, giving people props, asking for some value back, because like we started the show today, we have no sponsors. And when you have no sponsors, you have no money coming in. So it is the community who keeps this show in business. So thank you, everybody. I very, very, very much appreciate that. And that is my promise to you. As long as the community keeps supporting here, we will not have any sponsors. You won't have to listen to me give a gun to the back ad for somebody. On that note, this is a kind of a crazy concept I'm thinking about. But I really believe that, like, paid ads are dead. Dead. You guys tell me your experience here. I'm interested. I want to hear people's opinion on this in the chat. I got another thing to talk about today, but we'll spend a couple minutes on this right now. So what I want to know from the chat and from comments after the show here, this is my theory. I think that paid ads are dead. Dead. I think they've lost all their effectiveness. Let me know what you think. Like when you're watching a Bitcoin show, Bitcoin podcast, anything like that, and the podcaster comes on and reads an ad, like that you can tell that somebody else wrote for them and they're just shoving this down their audience's throat. I mean, yes, they are giving out free information, which is good. And they, whatever. But I'm not talking about whether it's right or wrong. I'm talking about, is it effective? Like, do you ever listen to somebody read an ad and then like go and do anything with that? I don't. As soon as I hear an ad, I'm just like either skip it, tune out, or whatever. I'm just over that. I'm completely over that. It has zero effectiveness on me. And kind of one reason why I don't want to have any sponsors on the show is because of that reason. I don't think they're effective at all. I think it's actually harmful to the audience more than anything else. But B, every single podcaster and anybody with a show who's reading somebody else's words and is getting money from them every month, that to me suggests that they don't necessarily have free speech. Whether they will admit that or not, I don't think that they have free speech. If you have to worry about getting an email or a phone call for what you talked about on the show, I don't think you have free speech. Or if you have to worry about your paycheck not coming in next month because of something you said, I don't think you have sovereignty. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like when you guys see, guys and girls, when you see, when you hear somebody read an ad to you in a podcast or a show, like, is that effective? Do you go out and look at it or buy it or anything? I don't. I think that is dead. And that is a massive industry. So the question is, what happens from that then? Where do we go from there? And kind of my take on that is that even though, again, I'm not going to take any money from anybody, I am going to talk about the products that I like, that I've used, that I've had good experience with. And then if I share a referral link and you want to buy it too, that's a way that we can support the channel like that. I think that that's the best way to do it. Personally, I'm just going to skip some comments here and see what people think about that. This is why I watch a 2X, or that's why I watch a 2X. Yeah, speed watch. Lapad agrees. Paul says, unfortunately, ads do work, and they know that, usually on the same percentage of people who are not critical thinkers. That's fair. That's fair. But how many of those people are Bitcoiners? That's kind of, maybe I misspoke there. Maybe paid ads in Bitcoin don't work anymore. I don't know, because I do agree with you, Paul. But I don't think that there's many Bitcoiners who are zombie consumers anymore. Tommy says, you're saying what everyone else thinks. It has gotten better, but still cringe. That's what I mean. Nobody else wants to talk about it because everybody else is receiving fucking paychecks every month from these big sponsors. Whatever. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm a better person or anything for it. I just think that it's a lot more respectful for the audience that, you're not shoving shit down their throat all for an hour straight. Like I listened to, I won't mention which podcast it was, but it felt like every 5 minutes of the show, there was an ad or two in there. It's like the whole flow of the show is ruined. That's why I don't put any ads on the morning show here, because it just disrupts the whole flow. I don't know. What the hell do I know? What the hell do I know? Okay, let's give away some Bitcoin here. Speaking of paid ads, just kidding. No, Bitcoin Well doesn't pay me a dime. They give the community the sats. That's why I love this. That's why I'm so happy to work with Bitcoin Well, is because every day we do have to hear a little bit about Bitcoin Well, but they give you some sats in exchange for that. So point your phones at the screens, and the first person to scan this QR code today is going to win some free sats, some free biddy, some free non-KYC biddy. Ready? Set? Let's go. Big one today. Oh yeah, that's 2 shows in a row. We hit 2100 sats. Fucking A. Hopefully somebody has claimed that. If not, I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3. Hey, we got 69 people on YouTube right now. Nice. 2, 1. Claimed. Somebody got it. Somebody got it. So because Bitcoin Well gives Bitcoin to the community here every show, I have no issues. And also because I use them for all my Bitcoin purchases, I have no issues talking them up. They are the best place to buy Bitcoin in North America. No second best. Well, there's a couple second best good ones, but Bitcoin Well, from my experience, is the best one for a lot of reasons. But you can sign up here, bitcoinwell.com/Jor, get 5 free tosses into the well, 5 chances to win some Bitcoin. And the nice thing about that is it's guaranteed. You're going to win some sats. So Bitcoin Well, North America. If you're not there, just try it. That's why I tell people, take $100, take $200, where you were going to buy somewhere else, get a Bitcoin Well account, try it, test it out yourself. If it sucks, let me know. But from my experience, they are the best Bitcoin platform that exists. They got the lowest fees too, which if you're buying big amounts, those sats definitely add up. Okay, I want to see, Laughpad says, I especially agree about the free speech part. Yeah, and people will say that, that's not the case. Anybody who's receiving money from somebody else will say that that's not the case, but we know that that is the case. Lapad says, as the consumer, I definitely think about the creator not being able to disclose their own feelings. Yeah. And if you've watched, if you've watched the show for more than 10 minutes ever, you know that I do disclose my feelings about whatever the hell I want to that day. Sabian says, my company thrives on ads as we get thousands of opted-in leads daily into our funnels and live call center. Okay, so maybe that's true. Maybe I'm kind of out to lunch this. I'm more talking about Bitcoin specific stuff. And Sabian, if you have a Bitcoin company, and if you target Bitcoiners, then I'm wrong here. But that's how I think anyways. That's how I see it. That's how I think when there's a Bitcoiner, talking about the Bitcoin way on every show. I don't know. Oh, Bodie, look at that. That was Bodie. 8,888 sat. Legendary zap from Bodie today. My man. And Bodie also says, yes, 2 p.m. Eastern time, the Bitcoin Generation show, just like every Thursday, will be live. All right, this is good. Bangerang says, ads are okay, but if they're doing ads for bad products like Ledger, I lose respect. Okay, that's another good point too. That's another good point taken there. I agree with that, right? Because as a Bitcoiner here, when I talk about security, when I talk about Cold Card being like the Bitcoin standard of Bitcoin security, Cold Card, Jade, and Passport, like that's my experience with it. That's what I believe. So if Ledger offered me a bunch of cash to talk about their product, that wouldn't sit right with me. And maybe there are Bitcoiners out there who actually, believe that Ledger is the best one. And then, there's nothing that I can say about them. But if they willingly know, if they're using something else, or they know that there's a better option out there for people, that to me is where I kind of lose. That's where they lose me. Sabian says, I understand. No, not a Bitcoin company, although we can be paid in Bitcoin. Cool. So yeah, that was kind of my point there, is that you're not targeting Bitcoiners, because going back to what Paul said here is that they do work usually on the same percentage of people who are not critical thinkers. And I said Bitcoiners are critical thinkers. So that's why I don't think that these ads work on Bitcoiners. I don't know. Josh says, personally, I don't mind if you took ad money for products you support and agree with. You could do the ad for the product at the beginning of the broadcast. It's your show. You do it to feel, oh yeah, you do what you feel best. Nobody here would be jaded, I would hope. I mean, that I'm not doing it because of people's perceptions. I appreciate though that Josh, but I don't do it because of people's perceptions. I just don't, again, if I have to worry about, even if I don't like, you know, if somebody's paying me, even if they're not like, giving me shit or telling me what I have to say, then I still feel like in the back of my head that it's influencing what I say. I don't know. And on that note, like one thing I will say is, like, when we're talking about jades and passports and cold cards, like, those are the links that I have no issue sharing, because those are products that I use and trust. And I've worked with companies before on the show. I mean, this show's only been around for a year, but I've worked with some companies, and one of those companies being QuickBit. And Dale was in the chat here. I don't know if he's still watching or not here, from our favorite Bitcoin brick and mortar in Canada, QuickBit. I've worked with them, and again, it went great. Both parties would agree with that. I never got any sort of text from Dale saying, talk about this or don't talk about that or whatever. So it's definitely possible to work with, to have a valuable partnership with somebody without being impacted or influenced by them. But it's still, like, to me, I just like being able to not even have that in the back of my mind. Right. So I don't know. I'm just talking out loud here. Jen says, thoughts on the Keystone Pro 3, Bitcoin only. I don't have any thoughts on it. I think that, when you're dealing with Bitcoin, you want to be dealing with the best. That's it. You don't worry about the price. You don't worry about anything else other than finding the best one. And to me, those three wallets, those three devices are the cold card, the jade, and the passport. If you're using anything other than that, unless I'm missing something here, and I very well could be, but those are the ones that I've used. Those are the ones that I trust. Those are the ones that I've heard other Bitcoiners that I trust recommend. And so that's it. There's really no reason to use anything other than that, in my opinion. And yeah, that's my thoughts on it. So you can, if you're looking for one of those, I don't have any relationship with Foundation. I just like their product. Maybe we'll have a referral link one day with Foundation, but I have a cold card one. If you need a cold card, it should be in the show notes. And speaking of QuickBit, this is you can get a jade. You can get a jade and the stamp seed. So this is kind of like it's a starter kit. So this is for somebody who has, like, I'd say over 10 million sats. If you got 10 million sats or more and you don't have a device yet, you should be thinking about one. And so you can get jade, very easy to use, comes with a steel plate, a stamp seed kit, and $425 Canadian there, plus free shipping. And if you use the code 88 sats, you get a 15% off discount code to that. So that's the ticket here, I think. And from what I've understood, anyways, from what I understand of the tariff situation, is that the tariffs only apply to amounts larger than $800. So this would fall under that category. If you're in the US and you want to order this, I don't think you'll have any issues with import or tariffs that I've heard, anyways. So that's I'll throw that link in the chat for everybody here. If you want to, if you're in the market for a new hardware device, you can get the steel kit. I think that's the best place to start. Eventually you move into a multi-sig. Eventually you move away from steel and into encryption, but that all happens, over a long period of time. So I wanted to today talk about something else than we ended up talking about, but we didn't have time. We're running out of time here. So let me see. Let me catch up on some chats here for the day. Let's see what my Path to Fire says here. Says they're a scam, part of the fiat legacy system. It feels so fake without the value for value. We don't need middlemen anymore. I do think the endorsements and recommending good products is a good thing, though. I think we're on the same page. All right. There you go. And he also said, X is so crap when you can't show real intent without being able to give value for value. Agreed. And Wood Butcher Zap 10 sat saying, are you free to speak on YouTube? Well, honestly, like I've had a couple warnings on my channel in the last year and a half. I haven't held back anything on here at all, as most people can attest to. So, you know, I'm not talking about any real sensitive topics. So either like I'm probably on the sensitive topic end of the scale for Bitcoiners, I would say, in terms of like political stuff, in terms of like the misgendering thing today. So I feel like I can. I've got a couple warnings. My channel hasn't been shut down, thankfully. But, you know, my plan eventually is to move away from YouTube and move fully onto Zapstream, where there's no ads, there's no restrictions from YouTube. It's all just value for value, and it's all whatever the hell I want to talk about. So I feel like I'm pretty close to that. And I feel like YouTube's still like, you know, there's a lot of people still on YouTube. Oh, okay. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. Okay, so let's start wrapping up here. Arnie, we're 15 minutes over time. And anything else we want to talk about today? I don't know. Who knows? Who the hell knows? As Trump would say. Who the hell knows? Oh, that's the last thing that I want to talk about today. And then we'll shut her down. So I did yesterday we did our proof of work show, which is every Wednesday morning. Everybody in the Living in the Future community, we do our proof of work course, we call it. We did episode number 3 yesterday. We're kind of in self-discovery mode right now. It's pretty cool. I've really enjoyed the sessions that we've done so far on proof of work. But so Wednesdays we don't do a show on the channel, and afterwards I decided that I was going to do a live show. It was about noon Eastern time, I think. But if you haven't watched that yet, if you were, you know, if you showed up yesterday at 9 a.m. and we weren't here, we actually did a show yesterday, and we watched Saylor's speech from the Bitcoin Policy Institute. I believe that's what it's called. And what a clip. What a clip from Saylor. Half an hour of just like pure gold as usual from him. But on top of that, we also talked about SuperBacked. So right after the show today, I'm actually going to clip the part where I talked about SuperBacked for about 20 minutes, answered some questions from the chat and from other questions we've been getting a lot. So if you are somebody who's been interested in reaching out, I think that's probably your best bet, is instead of like the email that I've been sending out, just go watch that. It's 20 minutes long. I think it's well worth your time and energy. So I'm going to share that probably right after the stream today. So keep an eye out for that. And we're going to be talking about that on Maple Bitcoin tomorrow. We're going to be talking about everything that happened at the Bitcoin Policy Institute and what it means for us. So the live stream tomorrow is going to be, what time is it? 2 p.m.? 1 p.m.? I don't know. I don't even know when our show is. Sometime tomorrow. And I'm telling you this because I might not be doing a show tomorrow morning, but I will be doing the Maple Bitcoin show. So just in case you're not, I'm sure most people who watch the show already used to have subscribed to the channel. But if you're interested in that, we do a couple videos every week. We do a live stream every Friday. And if you don't want to miss it, you can turn on the notifications. So what the hell is going on out there? Stop. You guys hear a little squeak? It's not the door. It's Arnie. He's restless. Cleaning Machine says, when do you ship the hoodies you are? I think they're being done this week. The guy from Proof of Ink is on holidays, I believe, right now. So they're going to get the first batch is going to get done up next week, hopefully. So if you are one of the 25, I think, people who have bought a hoodie so far, they're going to be done next week. You're going to be included in the first batch, and they'll be shipped out probably a week or two after that. So some of them are being shipped from the US. Some of them will be shipped from Canada. So we're trying our best to avoid any sort of tariffs and import stuff with that. So where is that? Those cities are so nice. Where are they here? Let me see if I can bring it up quickly. I was blown away by the amount of people who have ordered one of those hoodies already. I mean, I get it. They're nice, but at the same time, I was expecting like maybe 5, 6, 7 people, but there's been over 20 people who have ordered one of those hoodies already. And they are the limited edition ones too. So they're going to be available on Proof of Ink. Okay, where the hell are these things now? Proton Drive, maybe? But they're going to be available on Proof of Ink, except they're not going to be the there they are. Look at these. They're not going to be the limited edition ones. So the limited edition ones are going to have a number out of 88 on the back, not your number, but just like out of 88, signifying the limited edition ones. So we're going to do the cutoff tomorrow for these hoodies. Not that you won't be able to buy them, but the cutoff for the very first batch of these hoodies is going to be tomorrow. So if you wait a little while, you're still going to get it, obviously, but it'll take a little bit longer. So these hoodies are going to be the first batch cutoff is going to be tomorrow. So if you've been interested but haven't, put in an order yet, and you want to be part of the first batch there, you got until tomorrow. So that's the black one. That's one option. And this one too. This is pretty sexy, if I must say myself. I love the cream one. This is the CATHIE wood one that I have. Same hoodie, same color. And we are right about Bitcoin. So it's like a very nice, very high quality. It's the best quality I've ever seen in a hoodie before. And it's just a nice hoodie. It's not like a silly Bitcoin one. You can kind of wear it discreetly with a very small sign, just in case there's a Bitcoiner walking by. So, somebody who's not in Bitcoin will never notice that. This is a very discreet way to support the Bitcoin network and support the channel. That's, one of the ways. Instead of having sponsors, we'll have some limited edition gear and stuff that we're going to be putting out. And every one of these hoodies in the limited edition one comes with its own 88 sat UTXO, which is kind of cool. It's like it's like the stamp of verification, the 88 sat UTXO that comes with each hoodie. So again, cutoff for that is going to be tomorrow for the first batch. You can still get it, still some left, but tomorrow's the other one. Okay, so Wood Butcher, thank you, my friend. Zapped 420 sats. Appreciate that a lot. And Matt with another 88 sat zap to close out the show today. So that's it. Thanks for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. And maybe we'll see you tomorrow morning. But if not, we'll see you hopefully this afternoon with Bodie, Bitcoin Generations, 2 p.m. Eastern time. And for sure with Maple Bitcoin tomorrow afternoon. So have a great Thursday, everybody. Thank you again for showing up. Thank you for all the support. And we'll talk to you on the next one. And Arnie came to say goodbye too. All right. Bye-bye.